Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and welcome back to our latest alternate reality solar system with Uranus here being the dominant gas giant in here with the most mass, making things quite interesting for this scenario. So if you remember last video, definitely go ahead and check that one out if you haven't already. But we formed our new alternate reality solar system here, and we now have this lineup. So you got the Earth in there with the inner planets, Mercury, Venus being the closest planet to the Sun. We've got Feya in there, Mars, Ceres, all fully fledged planets in this reality. Uranus being the dominant gas giant, about 5 AU from the Sun. But then we also have Jupiter and Saturn, roughly in their normal orbital areas. You know, Jupiter and Saturn, I think Saturn's roughly sitting where it normally sits, but Jupiter is sitting in between the normal Jupiter and normal Saturn area. So there could be a bit of instability in here. We've got Titan as a fully fledged planet orbiting the Sun on its own as well. Pretty cool. We've got the fifth giant in here as an extra as well, another extra gas giant. We've got Planet X, the super Earth that would have hit Uranus in the normal reality, supposedly, but obviously Uranus is in a different area, so it never hit Uranus in this reality. We've got Neptune out there as well that has not migrated into the Kuiper belt, and we're not going to be doing that manually either. If it does it naturally, it does it naturally. We will not be interfering with these orbits in any way. Then we have Pluto out here as well. Again, a fully fledged planet, larger in size. Triton's out there as well, as again, as a fully fledged dwarf planet. Has not orbited Neptune in this reality yet, if it does at all. So it should be interesting. There's Neptune there. And also we've got the other dwarf planets out there as well. So far, things are fairly stable. You can see one of the orbits there is slightly up here. So you can see the fifth giant's orbit, kind of off the main orbital plane. So it should be very interesting. As for the inner solar system as well, orbits roughly looking okay. But we can see so far the Feya and Earth orbits, especially Feya's orbit, has kind of been jolted a little bit. So it should be interesting. If we go to the planets themselves as well, currently Venus, a world that is too cold at the moment. The Sun has yet to increase in luminosity since we started the simulation. So this young Venus here has yet to show what it can do. Mercury, I think, still left where we are, or left off where we are from before. Currently a habitable world. The game is giving it the vegetation automatically, so even the game thinks it's habitable, which is pretty cool. So this very, very young Mercury currently sits at 83 and 35 on the life likelihood gauge there, and the Earth similarity. So the young Mercury, it's looking pretty good. It's got a little magnetic field to protect it from the Sun in this scenario as well. So yeah, good old little Mercury there, getting some quite pleasant temperatures currently. But remember, this planet is closer to the Sun than the others, so with enough time, you know, unfortunately, this may not be a safe haven forever. So there you go. Sun, nice day on Mercury. Has a faster rotation than our current day in the real reality as well. So this Mercury, yeah, rotating a lot quicker than normal as well. Same with Venus. There we go. As for the Earth, the third planet from the Sun in this scenario, minus 133. Hasn't yet received the luminosity and temperature from the Sun yet to really get going. And then also Feya in the nearby region as well. Earth's orbit is slightly closer to the Sun, 11.6 months here, 0.98 AU from the Sun. We've got Feya here at 1.2 years, again with its slightly more longer orbit. Tilted on its side as well, minus 52 Celsius here. So again, pretty cold. And then we also have Mars. Further out again, minus 126. It really hasn't cracked on yet. But again, a world waiting to be awoken. More massive than normal as well. Ceres, again, fully fledged planet here. Just needs that temperature from the Sun to really get going. Sitting at 1.9 AU from the young Sun here. So, let's go ahead and get this simulation on the move. As we need to start, you know, the Sun needs to be cranked up a bit today. So there we go. Young solar system, there you go. Looking good. Orbits, let's see how they behave themselves. Further out, I'm sure we may see some changes out here with the Uranus being in there. There's a bit of wobble out there already. So things could be interesting once we run this for a long enough time. Because we've got Planet X out there, the fifth giant there in close orbital areas. Kind of crossing across each other. You can see right now they're having a bit of a close engagement there. But not on this chance. Saturn also getting in there as well. But I think with enough given time, you know, we really crank this up, we could see some changes. So there we go. Let's see how the simulation runs. There you go. But, you know, I'd be very surprised if this stays stable. I mean, that Uranus being locked close, Jupiter's in there, Saturn, they're all in close proximity to each other, these guys. You've got Titan that's existing on its own little area at the moment, you know, not orbiting Saturn. So, you know, existing as its own planet here. Pretty cool. But, yeah, hasn't yet received any light from the Sun to really get going. So, there we are. Saturn, looking good. Jupiter. There you go. As for the inner solar system, the Earth and Feya areas are still a bit close. So there's the Earth. Let's see. So those always are getting very close together, and that could be a big change once they get going there. So there we go. Earth. See if Earth and Feya get close at some point. You know, a bit like there. Not yet. The Earth and Feya. All it takes is to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there could be massive changes. So, you know, one of these objects may eventually be ruined, tossed out. We'll have to see. Earth and Feya getting in there. I think Earth is the more massive of the two, isn't it? It is, yeah. Okay. So looking good. So the young Earth, yeah, still hasn't really awoken. Maybe old Mercury getting a bit close in there as well. So there's a lot of inner planet. That Earth and Feya Mercury region, there's a lot going on in there. Yeah, very interesting stuff. So we'll have to wait and see how that behaves. Outer solar system. Surprised that dominant Uranus isn't doing much at the moment, but you know, maybe it's in a decent position. And Jupiter being closer in there than it normally is as well. You know, being closer to the Uranus here. You know, this should be interesting. You know, 5 AU there, then you take a jump to 7 AU with Jupiter, and then you've got Titan, 11 AU, Saturn, 13. You got the 5th giant, 16, and then Neptune and so on. So they're roughly in the normal Uranus kind of area. Planet X, 5th giant, Neptune. Saturn's a little further out than I think it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. You got Titan in there, but yeah, you got Jupiter a little further out than normal. So you know, it should be some interesting changes once we give it enough time. So it's just about running the simulation, seeing what we can go. You can see there's definitely some changes. I saw the Planet X and Neptune just have some kind of interaction there potentially. Well, what's weird in Planet X now, the Super Earth, it's crossing between 5th giant and Neptune orbits. Look at that orange orbit. Crosses 5th giant's orbit here. If we go around a bit more, now it's out there, it's crossing Neptune's orbit. So, definitely some instability there. Planet X, could it be on for an ejection? You know, there's a lot of stuff flying in that region of space. Could be bad news. There's Neptune having an interaction, potentially. Oh, things could get very interesting. Now it's having an interaction with the 5th giant, getting in there. Let's keep it on Planet X's orbit here, because you can see here, look at this orbit. That's going to have some changes for sure. But there you go, with enough time. Anything can happen. We've run the simulation for not even 10,000 years yet, so there's still plenty of run time we can do in here. So there we are. But while that's all happening, the sun. Sun needs to get a little older now. Let's go ahead and save our sim. There you go. Keep it going. Right, and then the sun. Slowly start cranking this up. So, luminosity. Actually, we need to increase the technically the radius as well. So there you go. So get a little bit bigger, the sun. Luminosity. Let's go up to 0.8 in radius. A little bigger. 9 Jupiters. So, we could start to see some changes on Mercury here. The sun's cranking up. The young Mercury, it was great in the early days, but, you know, a bit more being built too close to the sun here. That may cost it. So, here we are. Look at that average temperature. This is where we could start to see some problems. 55 on the highest now. Mercury's really going to be feeling the heat. So that's going to hurt. Habitable stats here. As you can see, it's dropping. And look at this. Some of that green is going to start disappearing. You can see the surface has lost the vegetation in some of the areas. If we look underneath here. There you go. Some of that vegetation. This whole planet was green when we started today's video. So now you can see the grey on the equator area. It's having a hard time. So only the green has been reduced to the pole regions a bit more. So yeah, Mercury, I think its days are kind of numbered. It's not looking too good here. All that water, it's going to start going into water vapor. So that stat is going to continue to drop. See the water here? It's got carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but you know this water could start to see more gas here as it increases. Again, further increase in the greenhouse effect. This Mercury could be on for a global greenhouse problem here. It's sitting at 55 Celsius average. It looks like that's roughly where it's maxed out. So for now, Mercury's right on the edge. 85 on the hottest region. So Mercury, the only place you're safe is near the polar regions now. The front face inside is scorching. So you can see again, if you look underneath, not looking too great there. So the green is really vanishing there. So not a good look. Maybe it's watercolour. It's going to change slightly. A little more less inviting. Probably the right word. Maybe the clouds a little more atmosphere, fading it out a bit. A few little appearance changes there. Again, I'm only changing the visuals. It's not affecting the planet in any way doing that. But yeah, just to get the cooler Bella look going on. So yeah, the Mercury not looking good. Maybe a bit more clouds, thickening it up a bit, more vapor going up. Bit of a thicker cloud region on the young Mercury there. So not looking great for the Mercury. We actually go and have a little bit of a surface through that once green, prosperous area. Now, greyed out, not looking so great. Young sun, getting a bit older. So Mercury is going to be the first one to pay the price. Because the young Venus hasn't yet even warmed up because it has a lot of water. But, you know, that could melt fast. We'll have to wait and see. So there you go, Mercury. Right, Venus, how are we doing over there? That may start to receive a bit more temperature from the sun. Yeah, minus 65. Once it starts liquefying that water, we should start seeing a good few changes there. So let's see, how are we sitting? Minus 53, so still not enough for Venus to really crank up yet. I think it's just a whole lot more reflective at the moment as well. So despite being closer to the sun, Venus not having the temperature just yet. So underneath all that snow and ice, there you go. Just has yet to awoken, so there you go. Got a weird layer of stuff on it at the moment, but there you go. Minus 65 on the Venus. I'm guessing Earth onwards there's probably no temperature out there yet. Yeah, still very cold at this region. Okay, that's fine. Let's continue. So let's get the get that going. Okay, run the sim, put the orbits back on. Keep an eye on those trails. Eventually. Could be in for a nasty surprise, some of these. There you go. We just saw a change there. What was that? Something changed. I think that was Planet X's orbit. Yeah, it's off the plane a bit now. Look, there it is. There was nothing ejected there. I saw something happen. Interesting. Okay. Keep it rolling. Yeah, you can see, watch that orange orbit of Planet X with Neptune. You can see it's constant. It's being torn around now. Look, Neptune, the fifth giant, they got it in their clutches. I think it's getting involved with Saturn a bit. Yeah, you can see Saturn's orbit there. Not looking good. So, yeah, I think the Planet X orbit is getting a bit of a hard time. It's going between 3 gas worlds orbits there with a lot more mass. So, could be in for a very, very nasty shock here. We could have an ejection. So, there you go. Oh, that orbit is in a really rough spot. I know, I'm surprised at good old Titan. It's sitting quite comfortably where it is at the moment. Yeah, it's just chilling, isn't it? It's doing quite well. Especially being in between all those large gas planets. Yeah, so far so good there. But yeah, Planet X's orbit's now going into the Kuiper Belt area a bit. It's going into the Pluto-Triton region. Very, very interesting stuff. Okay. We're now over 10,000 years of simulated time. But you can see its orbit is slowly being hurt, that Planet X. Look at that. Interesting stuff. Over in the inner solar system, Earth and Feya still somehow hanging on there. Their orbits are having a little battle out though. Look, oh, it's getting a bit frisky in there. Look at that Earth's orbit. Oh dear. Oh, I think I paused it at the right time there. Have they both just ejected each other? Oh, interesting. In separate directions? Yes. Interesting. But I'm not sure that's quite right. I have to say, I kind of want to undo that and have another player. I'm gonna reverse time. I want to rerun that. Now, this may upset our Planet X scenario a bit, but yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that play out a bit better. Here we go. Let's do that again. There we go. I think this is before we evolved the sun, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Ah, that's a bit annoying. Okay, that's fine. We can go back to where we were anyway. We were roughly at 0.8, weren't we? So. The sun, we were about 9 Jupiters, weren't we? And then this was about 0.8. We have to recustomize Mercury. That's fine. Okay, put it back where it was. Right, okay. Earth and Feya. As you can see, yeah, so the Earth and Feya orbit, yeah, the Feya orbit's really wobbling around there. But yeah, I don't believe that they've just ejected each other like that. I think that's just the game being a bit weird when you run it too fast. But you can see the Feya orbit really is having a bit of instability there. Look, there you go. So that's more of a realistic result, I think. It's upset Mars a bit. And the Earth is clearing out Feya, slowly but surely there. It's more like it. There you go. How are we doing out here? Planet X still hanging in there? Okay. So we've got a different result in this version. There you go. See, I think this makes more sense. And what was that? Is Mars? Mars got thrown out in this scenario. There you go. So one planet was cleared out completely. But that, see, to me, that result makes a bit more sense than both planets just slinging each other out. I mean, yeah. Once you speed it up, though, the results do get a bit unpredictable. It's like Earth is really close to Mercury now. And the Feya is the survivor in this scenario instead of Mars. Now I'm keen. Do I do one more? Kind of see what result we get. And yeah, this version, Earth and Feya have battled it out and Mars paid the price. So there you go. And the Mars, it's never coming back from that. But that's an interesting orbit there. Would Uranus have any pull on that Feya after a long period of time? So that's pretty much the end of that scenario there. The outer solar system, Planet X, is still a little upset, isn't it? the young Feya. Very interesting how that's managed to do what it's done. I'm going to do one more. I want to see one more reset. I want to see what other results we get. Because we're technically not altering the objects in any way. We're just trying out which future we want to go with, technically. Because every time you run it, the game gives you different results, which is pretty interesting, actually. So, there you go. How are we doing over here? Right. Again, so planet Earth, Feya. So what was that? See, was that planet X's orbit? See, look, we got a different result again. Neptune's been ejected this time. So the results vary every time. Every scenario we run is a different one. So look at that. How has that happened? Oh my god. And how did Neptune get ejected when it's the larger mass object? With planet X there. That's a bit bizarre, I think. You'd think that the object with the more mass would hold on. Let's see how the inner system plays out in this version. So the Earth and Feya once more going at it. Mercury getting a bit involved there as well. Oh dear. Okay, that's a very big free planet tussle there. Look at those orbits. This is like a doomsday scenario for those. Look how close the 4 inner planets are. All 4 of them. Right in a close region. That is nightmare stuff for them. I mean, no one's going to be smiling after that gets solved once these objects sort themselves out. Look at those orbits. 4 of them crossing near that. That is wild. Mercury and Earth orbit. You've got the Feya orbit. Look at this. It's really interesting how the game functions different every time you run it, but look at this scenario. We didn't have this at all in the first 2 ones we run. But it's always interesting to see the different scenarios that can be brought out by this. So something else has been thrown out. Look at this. What is this? I think the Earth went that time. Mercury went, the Earth went, Neptune's gone. It's so bizarre. And look at the outer solar system now. Look at this. Is this a potential future of when we really run it? But I'm going to go back again. Right. Whatever happens to here, this is what we're going to stick with now. So there we go. Okay, so where were we? So the sun, let's put it to where it was. So we were roughly at 0.8, weren't we? Yep. The radius, 9. I'm going to go ahead and override that save immediately. So the sun is where it was. There you go. The Mercury, what I was going to do to you was I faded out the clouds. We added thicker there. We changed the colour to a slightly more tanned orange, didn't we? So there we go. All right. Now, whatever happens here, that is set in stone now. That is the reality we are going to go with. We've seen a few potential futures. We've gone back in time, seen how the future changes. We are going to stick with this future now. So what will happen here? Well, my guess is as good as yours. I mean, again, I think one of the inner planets will be ejected here after a long enough period of time. I think that's just inevitable with having them such close proximity there. Unless one of them just gets pulled to the gas giants, which I think is quite unlikely. Because every time you run a simulation, you get different results. It's always hard to predict the far futures of these orbits after a while, so things are going to get wild. No collision, though. All just about the ejections in here. So there you go. Inner planets. The orbits aren't getting pretty rapid. And there you go. Outer solar system. So the 5th giant, planet X. Probably 2 of the doomed objects as well. Even Neptune we saw in that last reality was a bit obscure, and anything could happen to that as well. So just took one object to just completely upset everything. So there you are. Okay, but the inner solar system, I think that's where our eyes are going to lie for now. See how something happens. Don't want to run it too quickly though, because I feel like the faster you run it, the less accurate the simulation gets, which I think is actually how it does work as well. Because the game has to obviously compute it faster, so stuff is less realistic. The game does put a warning up sometimes when you run it really fast, saying, no, it can't simulate things that quick anymore. It sometimes comes up with a little message, doesn't it? There we go. But again, you can see the Earth and Feya really going at it there. Outer solar system. Oh, here you go. Okay, so interesting. Planet X out there now. Kind of forming an orbit like the potential Planet 9 orbit in real life. You know, having those kind of elliptical kind of orbits like this. Interesting. And that if that gets slung out enough, maybe it will sit there for a long time. There you go. Maybe that will clear out now that's out there. Maybe the outer solar system may stabilise a bit more. I think Titan. Is that Titan? Titan's under a bit of problems here. It's getting a bit close to old Saturn now, isn't it? Oh, interesting. Give that a deep orange so we can actually spot it a little easier. Yeah, something like that. Planet X will make this a little more, just so we can spot it a little easier. I'll make it a little more red. Because Titan is the one, it should be orange. A bit more. There you go, yeah. Titan's orange. Yeah, you can tell the difference between those. Alright, there you go. Let's pop a save as well. So again, we are saving us. We go now. This is the set reality we are choosing. There you go. Interesting stuff. Okay, back to the inner solar system. Earth versus Feya. It's always those two, isn't it? They just don't like each other. They just won't work. And could it affect Mars, like we saw in one of those potential realities that we removed? There you go. I'm surprised Uranus is having quite a calm effect on the other gas giants. It's not having too much of a problem. I'm surprised Jupiter hasn't had any turmoil at all. Saturn's behaving itself. Yeah, everything up to Saturn seems to be more or less stable. Maybe Titan's a little upset in there, but I think that's to be expected. You can see Titan's orbit is going between Jupiter and Saturn's orbit. You can see the orange there. So, pretty interesting stuff. The fifth giant is now further out from the sun than Neptune is, so that's migrated out a bit. Interesting. Its orbit to the fifth giant, also not particularly in a good position. Oh, what was that? Now, is that the Earth? Have we just lost the Earth? We have. So the Earth is gone. I think we've lost Feya as well. Earth and Feya have slung each other out. So there we go. But like I said, that is the reality we are sticking with. So two potentially good worlds. They just don't like it. They just won't work. They've both been flung out in this. So where did Feya go? Feya went the other direction. So they just don't like it. Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, they just come close together and they've just pushed each other too far away in different directions. So they are gone. So that is the future we're sticking with, though. So the inner solar system just does not like more than 4 planets, apparently. So now we've got Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Ceres as our 4 inner planets in here. Very good. But Earth, obviously, usually being the world with the best conditions. Not this time. So Mars. Venus and Mars, maybe our more better hopes here. Mercury, 52. Mars, minus 112. Ceres, minus 96. Ceres is warmer than Mars. Interesting. There you go. But now this is how the system is playing out. So the Earth and Feya, they don't get along. They took each other both out this time. So there was no winner. There you go. So the inner system should hope. I mean, technically, Mercury and Venus seem perfectly stable where they are. I think they're so close to the sun that the sun's gravity is just far superior in that region. That their gravity is not having too much of an effect. Their orbits aren't even. Look, the inner system is literally perfectly stable here. There is no changes in any of those orbits that we can visibly see here. So I think the inner system is pretty much sorted. Outer solar system, though, is still a bit of carnage going on here. Planet X, singing in now. The super Earth, fifth giant, Neptune. Saturn's in there as well. Titan's orbit's been a bit upset. Oh dear. Jupiter could have an effect on that. I'm kind of hoping Titan gets slung in the inner system somehow. I think that would be really cool. Bringing it in there. Very nice. Okay. But yeah, now we've passed that next sort of stage of the system of ejections. Gonna go and override that. Earth and Feya are deleted. No going back now. But anyway, the sun. Continuing on. 1 radius of sun. So we're pretty much getting to the present day. So 1 luminosity, 1 radius of sun, 1 mass of sun. Temperature's roughly where you'd expect. So this is the present day sun now. So there you go. Luminosity, 1 AU stuff should be seeing a bit of temperature. So hopefully this will start to warm up some of these other planets. Venus, warming up slowly but surely. Still pretty close to the sun though. You'd think, 0.7 AU. I guess it's so reflective though that it's just constantly. Yeah, the sun needs to be a lot more for this Venus to really get going. Look how high is its albedo? Yeah, it still has its normal albedo. I may actually interfere with that because maybe we intend it to have that much albedo when we formed it. I may say no to that. I'm gonna go against my rules here. I am gonna slightly modify this because I think it's a bit. Venus is not the Venus that we know in the present day. It shouldn't technically have this high albedo. I'm gonna lower it to 0.5, so it does absorb a bit more light. Hopefully that'll give it a bit more. Mercury 68 here. It's pretty much at the end of its life now of having any good conditions. You can see here. I think the whole planet. I think there's hardly any green left. Yeah, the life on this thing is 94 hottest. So this Mercury is really not having a good day now. Opacity, thicker atmosphere. We're getting to that global greenhouse kind of appearance here. Atmosphere colour slightly changed. Thicken it up. There you go. This Mercury. It's not a good look. I think we're going to kind of have to kind of remove its nice green trail there. Go into a little more of a nasty looking one. This Venus though, maybe the Venus starts to go a little more green. It's maybe getting a little more like that. Mars sitting in its okay position over here, minus 102. Again, far away. Ceres again. Need more luminosity there. But yeah, we're pretty much in the equivalent of the sun's present day age. The system, though, still some problems to be solved in the outer solar system. Because I think we are up for more ejections. I think the Titan, the fifth giant, and then Planet X, they're probably the world's most under threat at the moment. You can see the Titan's orbit is constantly changes. The orange one, it's now getting slung between Saturn and Neptune positions. Titan could be slung out completely, as we can see. It's going into the Kuiper belt now. That's another elliptical orbit we're getting created here. Or eccentric orbit, I should say. So, not looking good. The planet X seems to be behaving a little better now, as it is further away. Okay. Not much changes in the Kuiper world, which is pretty pleasant actually. Pluto, one of the large objects, just chilling quite nicely out there at the moment. Nothing going on. Very good. Okay. What does Pluto contain? Did we give it water and stuff? We did. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay. The Sun, again, the inner system. It's really cool how it has stabilised. Once the Earth Feya problem was sorted, the rest of the system is completely stabilised. It was literally just those two creating instability there. So it makes sense that, yeah, the instability is eventually dealt with. So, but I still find it a bit weird that both of them get slung out. If anyone, is that technically really? I mean, technically, I think you could probably have that where two objects, it's like opposite magnets. They sling it, they push each other away, something like that. Maybe that happens. I don't know. When you run the simulation so far, so is it the most realistic? That's the thing I'd argue there. But what do you guys think? What do you think? Do you think that ejection is justified, or do you think it shouldn't have happened? What do you think? Because we did see a few different results when we did it, but multiple times we did see that same fate occur. That was the most common result out of the few tests we did. So maybe it is meant to be what's happened. But yeah, let me know what you think on that. Neptune's orbit, we can see, also being upset. I think that's by Saturn. Yeah, it is. The fifth giant slung a little further out. It's weird how the fifth giant was closer to Saturn originally, and now Neptune is technically the closer of the orbits. Fifth giant's, sitting a little more comfortable. Saturn's orbit is also not a perfect circle, so there's definitely something that's been pulling on Saturn, somewhat as well. Saturn getting a bit close to the Pluto Kuiper belt region here. How far away is Saturn? It's sitting not even a Uranus distance from the Sun, so it's just on that eccentric distance. Maybe the Uranus-Jupiter effect is kind of having a pull on Saturn here. Very interesting. But it's still crazy how Uranus-Jupiter haven't had any kind of interference with each other after all this time. Right, the Sun, we're going to start evolving up a bit more, going up to 1.04. Then radius 1.05 there. So get a little bigger, a little broader. Slowly but surely with the Sun. There you go. Venus 22 Celsius. There you go. We're right in the good spot for Venus now. So let's have a little look underneath here. So it's still got its thick clouds and atmosphere. Let's have a little look underneath. Maybe the atmosphere moves a little too thick. Underneath Venus. What is this? What's going on here? Snow? Ice? Liquid? That's water. What? Oh, interesting. Give it a nice blue ocean in that case. So what's going on here? Well, so it's a full ocean world. Did we give Venus that much water? It's not like crazy amounts, but yeah, interesting. Venus is an all ocean world in this scenario. That's a interesting fate, isn't it? There you go. Well, what does the game give it for habitable? 0, I mean, Earth's similarity's high. Is it just because it doesn't have an ocean? Is it because it has no land? What if we do that? Maybe that'll help. Why is the life 0? Atmosphere, what's going on? Oh, it's still a high pressure though. 39 ATM there. I guess because it had so much water that the atmosphere pressure is so high that, yeah, it's saying no to any life as we know it. So despite being an ocean world, pressure's too high for life as we know it. So therefore the stat stays at 0 for life likelihood. So it has the similarity. The composition's good. This Venus. So this really is the Venus twin that we never got. Technically, it has lower pressure than it normally has in our reality. But again, this Venus is still, pressure's too high here for it to really give you a good result. So there you are. Let's increase the water back to where it was. So I'm going to keep it mostly. Well, that's albedo, sorry. Oops. Can't know what it was on. 0 points. Oh, it changes a bit anyway. We'll increase it a bit more as it's reflecting a lot of water back. Well, all that water's reflective, right? Yeah, I wasn't meant to tamper with that. But yeah, sea level. I'm going to increase this up a bit. Make it back to a sea world like it was. But there you are. So Venus, the ocean planet. So if anything can survive the high pressures there, it's a nice ocean for you to be in at the moment. 22 Celsius. Temperature's pretty fair. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's got the magnetic field. It's got the protection. Atmosphere back on. There you go. Yeah, it looks pretty decent actually. There you are. Underneath that atmosphere there. thin it out a bit. There you go. Make it a little more blue. Yeah. It looks very good. There you go. So currently the best place to be. So if we look on the... let's get the full solar system grid together now. So Venus all the way down there. There it is. Mercury, again, world, it's, yeah, 123 Celsius now, so it's kind of past this. It has had it. Yeah, the water is drying up now. Oh dear, we're on Mercury. Give it that kind of thick atmosphere effect now. So not a good look on that. Venus, though, once this thing goes, oh dear, it's going to be wild. Let's have a nice little look of the view. So the full ocean world, slightly green sky. There's your sun. There you go. Wait for it to come around again. Turn round. There's that sun. There it is. It's looking good. There you go. So the sunrise on the ocean world. Lots of clouds. Nice. So there we go. So looking good. Right, let's get it running. It's Venus, the ocean ball. Yeah, there you go. Pretty interesting. It's dropping in temperature a bit. Yeah, it's probably me due to me tampering with reflectiveness and stuff. Yeah, whoops. Still sitting at 5 Celsius, so that's fine. Not too much of a major. So just cooled it down a little bit. So I think when you change the sea level gauge, that does actually affect the stats sometimes, which is a bit of a pest. But oh well. 96 serenity again. If it just had that atmosphere, if that atmosphere pressure was 1. I mean, you know what? For the purpose of just knowing, let's go ahead and save. I'm going to put this to 1. What I said 1. The game does not want me messing with this. Oh my gosh. 1. Oh, it doesn't want me to tamper with it. Well, I've made the save, so I am free to tamper. Right, the game just doesn't want me lowering it. Look, it just doesn't let me. The game's just like, nope. That's really bizarre. Yeah, it doesn't want me affecting it whatsoever. Look, will not let me lower it. Pause. The game is just not having it. Yeah, oh yeah, you didn't like that, did you? Ah. ATM, 1. Play. So it just builds it up. See, it just builds it itself. But if we look at the stat now, is that going to change? It's still on 0. That is bizarre. I mean, what does it have? It's gone back to 28 again. Yeah, this Venus is just... doesn't like it. The composition on it just creates too much of an atmosphere for it to have the good pressure. So, there you go. Yeah, 28.6. This Venus is having none of it. Mercury, 21.8 now. So, the formerly good world. Look at it now. Yeah. But still has better life than Venus, apparently. Surface pressure here. What was it? Where do we go? Oh, hang on. 21, yeah, 21 ATM, and it's still better stats than that Venus. Yeah, the Mercury. That global greenhouse effect on here, it's not looking good, is it? Oh dear. There we are, so let's continue evolving here. So the outer solar system's still having some problems for sure. There you go. There you go. So the orbits are really, really not liking that, are they? Neptune's orbit, also under a bit of threat there. Yeah. Saturn could be a major clear out in the next episode, as we're going to finish off this one for today. So we're going to go with 1 revolution on the sun, I think. Let's crank it up a bit more. 1.1 suns, so we're kind of getting to Alpha Centauri kind of levels here. 1.15 luminosity. And then next episode, I think we'll be seeing Mars and Ceres come into play, as Mercury and Venus too close to the sun to really get it. Ceres, look at that. What's going on here? Ceres has had a bit of a visual change. Is that oceans? What's going on here? What is this? Looking underneath. No, it's not. Okay, well, there's something going on the Ceres. Yeah, that's weird. Interesting. So Ceres having some kind of weird change. It's getting colder for some reason, even though the sun's warmed up. Interesting. Composition. It's got all the stuff you possibly need. Mars, again, it has all the stuff you need. Interesting. There you go. Venus, 11 Celsius. That crazy atmosphere there. Where's our stats? Yeah, 0. 97. It's getting even higher. But yeah, the pressure increased. Look at that. Mercury. There you go. Uranus. Absolutely nothing from Uranus. I'm surprised that dominant Uranus hasn't had more of an effect. Or maybe it has and we just haven't seen it. Maybe it's playing with Jupiter against that Saturn there. There you go. The Titan's orbit. The small worlds, the rocky objects in the outer system have really paid the price. So you can see Neptune, Planet X, Titan. Those three worlds kind of in all distant areas now. What's that? The fifth giant. Oh dear. And what was that? Pluto? Is that Pluto? It is. More objects come into play there. So things are all starting to fall apart here. Saturn. Look at Saturn's orbit now. Slung out. Now it's at Uranus's present kind of distance. Neptune again. Eventually Saturn and Jupiter. So Saturn and Jupiter were having some kind of problem. The fifth giant slinging in between Uranus in the inner solar system. Now that is a huge... That is a dangerous position to be in. Very, very dangerous. Oh dear. Swinging in. So now Uranus as the dominant gas giant will definitely be coming into play next episode. So we're going to finish off on that cliffhanger for today, everyone. What do you think of that? There you go. Let's pop that save in. And yeah, what do you think of my controversial resetting the sim to get a slightly different result? What do you think of that? Well, we have the power of everything in here, so we are fully allowed to use it and change the past. We haven't tampered with the objects in any way, ... maybe Venus. But that was an accidental change on the albedo, wasn't it? Well, no, it wasn't meant to do it, but... Yeah, either way, it's roughly turned out how it probably would have been anyway. Just a slightly, mess with it, so... Yeah, a bit of a tricky one. But yeah, there we are, everybody. So what do you think of that? Let me know your feedback down below in the comments. Interested to hear it on this episode. If you like this video, press that like button. Help us on the journey to 50,000 subscribers, as we are now under 300 people away, everyone. We are really getting close now. I really appreciate all your support, as always. It means the world. And yeah, keen to hear your feedback. But yeah, everyone, make sure you have a great day. Stay safe out there. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.